Okay, the way I would like to describe what I do is that I am an author. I just finished writing a book, yours truly, Staying Authentic in Leadership and Life. And I like that because I always was very motivated and inspired by the stories of people that I heard through my consulting, my teaching. And I was lucky to find one of the most inspirational stories around the world. So I write about them. I have interviewed CEOs and startup founders from around the world. And what I did, it was to bring their inspirational stories together with more than 20 years of academic research. So that's how I would describe what I do. I do academic research and I put it together with inspirational stories so I can get and transmit some ideas could be useful for other people. My big idea is that I believe there is a crisis of confidence in our leaders. And authenticity as a leadership style is an antidote to this crisis of leadership. So I have reviewed many statistics, and some of the data from the Trust Barometer shows that in fact only 37% of people across 28 countries they trust their business leaders. And when it comes to government officials, the numbers are even worse. Only 29% of the people trust their political leaders. Take, for example, what's happening in Catalonia now, in Spain. I'm from Spain. It is this crisis of leadership in part responsible for many of the social and political problems. That has been my quest for the last 20 years, to understand why this crisis of leadership and also to help leaders become more authentic. I believe that as a cultural consciousness, leaders are over-glorified. We tend to see leaders as superheroes. So we fall for many times for charismatic narcissists. We put up with big egos. And in fact, what the research are showing is that humble people, they make better leaders. So what I believe we need is actually a leadership shift, a leadership revolution, a change in paradigm. And we cannot fall more for superheroes, but we need to change to more authentic leaders. Why so? What I have found in authentic leaders, they are happier, and their happiness and their passion is contagious. Authentic leaders, they have better relationship with their subordinates, with their peers, with their bosses. They are able to build this trust and confidence that we need so much to implement our strategies and our vision for our companies. And not only that, I think that authentic leaders, they are good social architects. They create structures, they create environments that are healthy and productive. So other people, their followers, they can become also leaders and they can grow and they can develop. So at the moment, I'm working on this book, on yours truly, and that has been my work for the last year. And I'm presenting the book, and I'm getting invited to different conferences, also from around the world. I will go to Asia, to Malaysia and Singapore, and because in fact this is a book from real leaders, real companies from around the world. So I have many examples. One example that I like to tell is one story is from Japan. And I wrote about, I interviewed Hiroko Samehima, and she's a founder of Anduamet in Japan. She's almost a national celebrity there. And her story is very inspiring because she was working at Chanel as a designer, and she quitted her job to follow her heart. And then she started her own company because she believed in a slow fashion. And in the process, she learned new habits, she learned how to do new things, to manage employees, to manage manufacturing operations, even legal issues. And what I like to tell also people is about how she founded a company only with volunteers. All her employees are volunteers for Japan because they believe in her vision, they believe in the ethical principles of slow fashion. So I have many stories like this, like Hiroko's, in the book, and they illustrate what I call the 3 H's of authentic leadership. These are my 3 H's of authentic leadership that are heart, habit, and harmony. So what I have found through all this research and interviews is that authentic leaders, they all share 3 things that they do. They follow their heart, they make learning a habit, and they find a harmony between themselves and others. Well, I think authenticity should be on every in the agenda of every CEO. When you ask people, what's the most important challenge? Somehow everyone now is thinking about artificial intelligence, internet, big data, competition, political instability with the Brexit, now Catalonia. But somehow I think that the real challenge that underneath many of these are this crisis of confidence in leaders, because leaders are the glue of our society. If we don't trust leaders, we are not able to implement a strategy. We are not able to use big data. So it's very important. Leadership is about trust. And trust is the currency of leaders. So we need that for any kind of implementation, whether it is with the internet or whether it is with artificial intelligence. I think that this crisis of confidence is going to be on the top of any leader's agenda, but I'm really optimistic because I see that there are some examples that show how some new leaders, they are becoming much more aware of the importance of authenticity. Take for example the new CEO of Starbucks, Kevin Johnson. He just recently gave an interview talking about the importance of authenticity, of being yourself, so that others can relate to you. Or for example, the new CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, because he is talking about more collaborative leadership style, trying to make building teams. So I think I'm optimistic, and some statistics show that in fact the word authenticity is increasing in numbers in newspapers and since 2008. So we are in the right direction. Hopefully we will have some role models in the future. Thinker-speaking means a lot to me, actually. I always wanted to be a thinker. So I had this romantic idea of the Greek philosophers, the thinkers. And what Thinker-speaking is doing is just amazing, not just for individual thinkers, but I think it's very important what they are doing as a collective. So they are bringing together all these individual thinkers and creating a community, sometimes of big egos. So I think it is very important and challenging, and it keeps me motivated, and it's really an honor to be part of this community.